Good morning, class. Today we're going to be working with string art, and we're going to be using these little forms that are made out of cardboard as our base. And what we're going to be painting with, if you want to use the word painting, is thread. Now, thread doesn't, that's just a tiny little line, right? But if you take tiny little lines and place them carefully, you'll find that some pretty cool things can happen. The problem with teaching this class virtually this year is that I can't just bring in a big box of thread and say, everybody go pick out 4 colors of thread that you like. I needed to make up these bags for you weeks ago and send them home with your mom. So if you find that you don't like the colors that you've got in your bag, you can ask your mom, does she have any sewing thread in the house? And she will very probably have a lot of colors for you to choose from to augment the ones that you find in your bag. Now, if you've not worked with sewing thread before, we're going to be working with the free end. Well, you know, that's easy to find on this one because somebody's already started this one. But if you've never actually worked with a spool before, if it's a brand new spool and you go looking for the end, okay, where's the end? Well, you know what? It's not there anywhere, which means that it's a brand new one and I need to find the end. So sometimes you can find it along the rim. Okay, it's not along that one. Oh, here it is over here. It's stuck in a little slit that goes underneath of this little sign on the top. So we can, there it is. That's the end. So I can pull that out of its slit and now I have access to it. And now I'll be able to use this one as well. Before we start working with the thread, which is a little bit more difficult to work with, we're going to practice with this heavier pink stuff that you'll find in your bag. And let's just practice winding with this. And we'll be taking this off, so we'll just stick that on a little bit. I'm not going to press hard because, like I say, this is just practice. Now, if I take this and put it on the floor so that it doesn't bother me, I see that I can bring this up from the back and I've got 2 places. I've got a valley and I've got kind of a little mountain or a petal. And I have different valleys that I could come up out of, but I think I'll come up out of this one. And what I'm going to do for the first practice winding is bring it just all the way straight down across down to the bottom. So from a valley at the top to a valley at the bottom. And you see right there what happened when I let go of the tension. That happened. That's not what we want with this. I'm going to keep a little bit of tension on it so that it stays straight. And then I'm going to come up from the back and I'm going to choose one valley off from the valley I first came up with. And then I'm going to choose one valley off from the valley that I disappeared underneath down at the bottom. And you'll see that what I can do is come up here and down here and up here and down here. Look, all of the times I've laid this across, it's a straight line and all of the straight lines are hitting in one single point. That's the center of the shape. And so if I do this and just keep going one mountain off, taking the next valley, I in the end will have this, and that looks a lot like I have a pie and I've cut it into a lot of pieces, and that's kind of fun. But what about if I do something a little different? So that's easy to take off. Check it out. I'm going to come up out of that same valley, but instead of going to the valley directly opposite, I'm going to choose something less than directly opposite. Let's say I try this one. Okay? The number of spaces between where I come up and where I come down is going to determine where the lines lay. We're going to make a circle. Watch this happen. I'll come up one valley off here and go one valley off when I disappear as well. And I come up with one mountain between the valleys and go down with one mountain between the valleys. And here I come up and there I go down and up on this valley and down on that valley. And now I've already got, I got to hold this while I talk. As I've come down here, as I get to the next one, this one already has a pink thread, But that's okay because that was a disappearing pink thread, not an appearing pink thread. So this one hasn't been done yet as an appearing valley. And then that one goes over here, and we start to see that each valley in the end is going to have two pink threads, a coming and a going. And just like I told you was going to happen, we're starting to see a circle form with our straight lines. So it's really cool that a straight line, together with a lot of its friends, can actually make a circle for you. And here's where it'll come up, and that's where it'll go down. And down here, up and down, up this valley, and disappear that valley. Appear here, go down there. I'm not done yet because there's still one valley that only has one pink thread. So there is his second pink thread, and it disappears down there. And now if I hold it so that it doesn't unwind, we see that we get this cool thing going where there's this circle in the center. And like I said in the beginning, the number of mountains that you skip between coming up and going down, if there's few mountains, it's going to be a larger circle. And if there's a lot of mountains, it's going to be a smaller circle. But this is just for practice. And what I'd like to do is work with the thread, because you see that if we get too many things meeting at the valleys, pretty soon the valley is going to be full. And it doesn't get full quite so fast with the sewing thread as it does with this stuff. So let's unwind this and take a look at doing it with the thread. And since I didn't press down very hard on that, that just comes up easily and nothing rips. Good job. So now that we've practiced with the wider one, we're going to go on to the narrower colors. The reason I'm working with something that's so narrow is because that little valley is only just so big. And if I start putting something thick into there and multiple strands of it, that's not going to be big enough. So I'm using really thin stuff. For the center, I think I'll use my lightest color, which is pink for me. Kind of a salmon-y color, isn't it? And I'll tape it in the back and drop it into the mixing bowl on the floor. When I come up out of a valley, with the thick pink, I went all the way across and went down into a valley down at the bottom. And we saw that that got me a lot of pie pieces, which is cool. And if you want to do that, please go ahead and do that. But I think just to be a little different, I'm going to do one less than straight across. Because this way I won't get one single point in the center. I should get a tiny circle like we saw with the second wrapping of the thick stuff. All right, so I'm going to come up with one mountain between the last time I came up and this time I came up, and then go to the other side, one mountain away from where I went down the last time. And up here, and down there. Oh, that kind of looks like a point, doesn't it? Let's see how it develops. Oh, it doesn't look like a point anymore. I'm getting an arc. But wait a minute, arcs or curved lines? How can I get curved lines with nothing but straight lines? That is cool. Well, I'm going to stabilize it here and talk a little bit. I've been coming around here. Here I've come up, and the next one already has a pink thread there. I don't want to let that confuse me, because in the end, each valley will have two pink threads coming out of it. So I'll do just as I did before, come up one away from where I came up the last time. And then he comes down there. And now it's easy to see. I go from one pinks to two pink, one pinks to two pinks, and now I have to start adding down here, having two pinks every time I lay it down. This will give two pinks in this one, and this will give two pinks in this one. Here's two, and there's two. So it's pretty easy for me to see where to go next without needing to do any counting. Up here to give it two, down here to give it two, up here to give it two, down here to give it two, up here and here. And oh, everybody's got two. There is my, oh, I got a little circle in the center made out of nothing but straight lines. I think that that is slick as can be. So keeping it under tension, I'm going to lay it down so nothing shifts while I get tape. I'll pull it a little bit. Whoa, it did shift. Yep, it shifted on me. Over there. I'm going to keep it under tension. You see why it's important to keep it under tension while I lay down my tape, and then I'm free to cut him free. And there is my first circle. The next color I do, I think, will be the teal. Tape him in place. And then the pink needs to leave the mixing bowl, because if the pink and the blue are together in the mixing bowl, we have spaghetti salad, and nobody wants to see that. Once I've got the blue taped on and in the mixing bowl, I can come up. Now I have to decide where I want my second circle to be. I don't want to put it exactly the same because it would just lay on top of the pink and that would be a little boring. I want to make it a little bit farther away than the pink circle. So let's see how many that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 is a number you need to remember because we need to, at some point, probably count to see where we are in this. So we're doing this one with 7. So when I come up one mountain away and then go in one mountain away at the bottom, it's easy in the beginning because I can see exactly what's happening. I'm not confused. You will notice, though, that when I come up here to the top, I hold it with my finger to keep everything under tension, because we know what happens if you let a thread go out from under tension, things start to fall off. So we're going to hold that with tension while we're thinking about where to go. This goes down here, comes up, I hold it in place, and down here, and up, and down, and oh my goodness, as I go to come up, there's already a thread there where I plan to come up, and so I might be confused. But I don't need to be confused because I know that in the end, all valleys are going to have 2 teal threads coming out of each valley. So now I have to say, oh look, this is probably where I want to go here. So I don't need to count just yet because I can see that there are valleys unoccupied by blue threads. And this, where I'm supposed to come out, I remember because my finger is there holding it, so it's easy for me to see. But now as I come up, I go down here and oh, everybody already has a blue thread. So now we have to start thinking. Just to make sure, we had the number 7. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He needs to go right there. And coming up at the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He needs to go right there. And coming up at the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He needs to go right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He needs to go right there. And maybe you can do this without counting, but I like to be sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He goes right there. And I'm running out of valleys that only have 1 blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I know I'm near the end. This one has, oh, but the next one has 2 blues. So this is the last one I'm laying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He goes down there. And now holding it under tension on the back, I hold it back and look and say, I do. I get another circle in teal that's a little bit larger than the pink one. So cool. I lay it down so nothing shifts while I get my tape. Remember, you want to give a little bit of tension to that thread, not so much that it distorts the cardboard, but enough that everybody is well behaved. As Laura Fry says, a strand under tension is a strand under control. I like that fact that I have made a round circle using nothing but straight lines. That's slick. So for my last color, I think I'll go with blue, dark blue, different than the teal that I had there in the beginning, in the middle. And once I attach him somewhere to the back, I have to get the teal out of the mixing bowl and put the navy blue in it. Where do I want this thread, this circle to be? I know I don't want to do it out here very far because I tell you, if you get very few mountains between where you come up and where you go down, it starts to fall off easily, and I don't want to do that. So let's do here, count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's remember 6. Up here, easy to remember because it's where my finger is, and down where there is not yet a navy blue. Up here and hold it with my finger, and down laying blue for the first time. Up here, and it's first navy blue. And here, move the finger that's stabilizing, and down. And down. I'm not even looking to see if I have a circle right now. I'm concentrating on keeping this thread kind of taut and moving along to add the navy blue thread where it's needed. This valley needs a navy blue, and that comes down there because there's nothing down there that looks navy blue. This one needs a second navy blue, and this one needs its first. And here, now everything is full of navy blue, and so now I should probably count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It needs to go right down there. I know where it needs to come up because my finger is there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down there. Up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It needs to go there. Everybody will have their own number. You don't have to do 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Going down there. Here's my second navy blue up at this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He belongs there. Up right next to him. Oh, and the next one beyond it has 2. So this is my last navy blue thread I'm laying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He goes down there, which is good because that's the second navy blue coming into this valley. And laying it down so that nothing shifts. Get some tape. Remember, this is important. Kind of press it down and hold that under tension a little bit while you lay it down so that everybody stays well controlled. And I see 3 circles. I see a pink circle in the center. I see a teal center in the middle, and there is an idea of a navy blue circle around the outside. All of the lines are tangent to the circles that we're imagining we see. That circle is made up of nothing but straight lines. And so I think that that is a really slick trick of ours to make up something curved with straight lines. And that is your art piece. Let's take a look at other samples of string art. This one uses nails to hold the string lines instead of cardboard. Most string art does use nails, but I thought that starting you out on a cardboard template for your very first one was easier. When folk artists start making pictures with simple lines of string, it can get real fancy real fast. But check out the center of this one. It looks like the circles that we did in class. This is how they use the nails to hold the string. This is made up all with straight lines of string. Isn't that pretty? You can also fill up a space with lines of string by laying them out randomly and thickly. Thinking outside the box, or the circle, you can see that nails and string can go together to make some cool wall decorations too. Or even 3-dimensional string art. Real artists can use string pulled tight to make high art for museums.